In today's video, I'll be showcasing everything there is to know about farming and how to optimize them to fit your needs, whether that's farming contribution points or materials for cooking and alchemy. Why should you farm? Farming is very important if you plan to increase your contribution points or just want to collect your own materials that aren't generally sold on the market, such as onions, hot peppers, hump mushrooms, and much more. Due to the changes on byproducts in December, we now gain an insane amount of contribution points and gain a large sum of farming XP for very little effort. Where to obtain seeds? The best place to purchase seeds is the marketplace, since you can purchase special seeds directly. However, sometimes you'll run into the issue of not having the special seed you need on the market. At this point, you will need to step a tier down, either base or high quality work as well. Using these two, you will also be able to get special and then later on magical. However, sometimes even that won't be on the market. At that point, you'll want to visit seed vendors in order to buy seeds, and sometimes seeds you may need to gather as well. How to obtain higher tier seeds? In order to obtain higher tier seeds, we need to first plant the seed we have available. Let's start from the specials, since most of the time these will be available, but the same concept will occur for both base level and higher quality. Once the seed has reached 100%, you can then breed the seed, which will provide you with more seeds, with a chance of higher quality seed appearing. However, in order to receive magical seeds, you will need to be farming Artisan 1 or higher, and then you'll repeat this process until you have the tier you need. Magical seeds have a higher yield base, providing more byproducts, and are ideal for contribution points and low maintenance farming, since each seed takes up to 5 slots, a total of 2 seeds per fence. What are the best seeds to plant? This ultimately is up to you depending on what you want to do with farming. For example, if you use this Excel sheet that I'll have in the video description, you'll see that hump mushrooms and dry main grass are the fastest, meaning if you only want contribution points and farming XP, these are the best things you want to plant. However, if we cook a lot and eat hot peppers, onions, garlics, or mushrooms such as hump, amida, bluffer, and so forth, then you can plant those instead. This won't give you contribution points, but you get materials instead. How to obtain fences? Fences can be obtained from certain NPCs. Using the search NPC option, type in fence and a numerous amount of fences will show up. You can obtain a total of 10 fences no matter the tier of the fence. Your main goal is to reach Master 1 farming to obtain the Old Moon fence, since these are small and make it more efficient when planting and using fertilizer. Depending on the tier, you will require the following contribution. Small fence, 30 CP for 10. Plain fence, 60 CP for 10. Strong and Old Moon fence, 100 CP for 10. Although the highest tier fences require more CP, they are extremely worth compared to the smaller tier. You can also obtain 2 free fences from quests, which I'll have linked down below. Additionally, you can obtain 8 fences from the pro shop if you wish to pay to win, giving you an extra 100 CP that you can spend elsewhere. What is the best way to set up your fences? Here are the best methods you should use depending on the fence you have. This allows you to apply fertilizer more efficiently without wasting anything. Small fences, plain fences, strong fences, and moon fences, you actually want to run the same setup as small fences. What is the best place to plant seeds and fences? Using the Excel sheet I showed you earlier, you can find the best locations for whatever you're looking to plant. Let's assume that I want to farm hot peppers. Using the Excel sheet, you can actually view how long they take as well as their best location. In this case, Valley is the best location. If we view the second Excel sheet tab, you'll also have an Imgur link which will showcase exactly where in Valley it is recommended to plant the fences and seeds for the fastest and most efficient setup. How to plant the fences? In order to plant the fence, you want to first know where you'll be farming. Once that has been decided, you want to open your inventory and right-click the fence. This will open a menu up where you can select where you want to put the fence down. Once it's placed, you will need to wait a few seconds in order to repeat the process for the other fences. How to plant seeds? Once the fence has been planted, stand inside the fence but avoid standing where you'll plant the seed, since this won't allow you to plant the seed wherever you're standing. Some seeds occupy more space than others, so you might be able to plant less than other crops depending on what you have. Once you're in the fence, click R and then an installation UI will pop up. Select the seed you want to plant and then the slot you wish to plant them in. Once you've planted the seeds, you can exit the menu and repeat the process for all the other fences. Understanding your crop. Once you plant the seeds, you can view its information by clicking R near the plant. Here you will see a lot of information that might not make any sense, but in short, all you really need to care about is the estimated time, the growth, and the fertilizer. It is important to note that once the crop reaches 100% growth, that it is ready to be harvested or bred. Waiting for it to reach a higher percent won't give you more yield, so it's best to attend to your farms as soon as it reaches 100%. Additionally, you want to make sure the crop doesn't reach zero moisture, since this will decrease your yield by half, but generally this isn't important for most spots since it won't reach zero at all. How to fertilize your crops. Now that your crops have been planted, we now want to fertilize them so it grows much faster. When the bar is fully maxed out, it'll reduce the crop growth by 2 hours. The first step is to purchase organic fertilizer via the marketplace, and then when the crops have been planted, stand in a place that hits most if not all the crops so you can use the least amount of fertilizer. Do this twice to ensure that your fertilizer bar reaches the maximum so that the timer can be reduced the most amount possible. Here's a preview of where to stand before using fertilizer based on the fence layout you're using. Small fences and old moon fences. Plain fences, strong fences. Adding workers to farms. Nowadays, it's highly recommended to add workers to your farms. They will automatically clean them, and this means you will get fully grown crops much faster with very little effort. You will however need to harvest or breed the crop once it reaches 100%. In order to add a worker, you need to visit the farming icon on the top left, then click the 2 people icon. Once you click that, select the worker you want to add to the farms. It doesn't matter if the nodes are connected, you actually don't need to connect nodes for farming. I personally add workers that I don't use at the very moment. Byproducts, now what? Byproducts have a few things you can exchange for them. However, the most valuable option is definitely going to be Contribution EXP as well as Farming EXP. Even at Master 29 and 494 CP, I gain a large amount with 5k blush leaves, which can be obtained in a day of farming. Farming pet. Farming has a unique system where you'll randomly spawn moles. It can range from 1 to 3 and they will give you some extra rewards. However, the best one is a special Pitapat mole, which gives you a Pitapat petal. You need to collect 10 of them in order to obtain the farming exclusive pet. The pet is special, so if you wish to upgrade it to T4, you will need to repeat the process and get more moles. Pay to win farming. Like most life skills, there are pay-to-win factors we can purchase primarily for convenience, but it's up to you if you want to obtain them. The first being 8 fences, which will save you 80 CP as mentioned earlier in the video, and the second being the farming costume, which gives you -2 seconds per crop you farm. It's not a required item, but definitely speeds up the process of how fast you collect your crops. Thank you for watching my farming guide. If you would like other guides, please leave it in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe. Happy farming!